All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a huge market that's just changing at an incredible pace. We're talking about China's franchise industry. So here's the big question, right? How do you even begin to navigate a market this big? We're talking 3 trillion RMB when all the rules have suddenly changed. Because make no mistake, the old playbook, it's gone. This is a whole new ballgame. Okay, so let's dig in. And for our audience tuning in from the Salon, this is for you. Everything we're about to cover comes from this really fresh report. It's the China Chain Franchise Business Development White Paper 2026. It was just put out in January by the Hongcan Industry Research Institute and Pengyu. Our mission here is to break it all down and give you a super clear strategic map of what's happening on the ground.
So, to really get where this market is headed, we've got to look back at where it's been. This whole thing didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's been on a pretty wild ride.
And wow, this timeline tells the story perfectly. You can see it went from this kind of Wild West and unregulated gold rush back in the day to a period where rules and regulations started bringing some order. And now? Now we're in what the report calls the brand recruitment era. And that's the key takeaway here. We are absolutely in a brand new phase. It's all about being professional and focusing on quality. Okay, so what does this new professional era actually look like when you crunch the numbers? Let's take a look at the data. What's the price of admission and what's the potential payoff if you get in the game? This chart paints a really clear picture of the startup costs. I mean, no surprise here. Hotels are the heavy hitters, right? Over 60% of them need somewhere between 2 and 6 million RMB to get started. But then you look at catering and retail, and they're way more accessible. Most of them fall in that sweet spot between 500,000 and 1 million RMB. But, that's really only one part of the equation. Okay, now this is where it gets super interesting. You have to look at this slide right next to the last one. Check out catering. Remember how it had that lower entry cost? Well, look at this. It has the best profit margins. Over 38% of them are pulling in margins in that 61 to 70% range. This is exactly the kind of risk-reward math that the smart money is doing right now.
So it's not just the market that's changed. The people playing the game have changed too. It's time we met the star of this new era, the professional franchisee.
Yeah, forget the idea of your typical mom-and-pop shop. These are a whole new breed of investors. We're talking about people who treat this like a serious business, because it is. They're data-driven, they're cautious, and they're looking for real, solid support from the brands they partner with. And this chart, it just screams cautious. Take a look at these numbers. Almost 60% of franchisees are taking longer than 2 months to decide. Over 40% are taking more than 3 months. That is a huge amount of due diligence. They are definitely not jumping into things blindly. And look at where they're getting their info. It's not from random posts on social media. Nope. The number one source, and it's not even close, is professional institutions and associations. That tells you everything. It's a massive shift away from social media chatter towards real, high-quality data. They want the facts, not the fluff. Okay, so you've got these smarter franchisees. You've got a much more competitive market. So how in the world do brands actually win? Well, the answer sounds simple, but trust me, it's really, really hard to pull off. It's all about standardization. It all starts with your people, right? The brands that are winning are the ones that have moved past just managing day-to-day. They're building a system. That means breaking down jobs into standard skills, having solid training, using data to figure out staffing, and of course, giving people a real reason to stick around and do great work. It's all about creating a stable, super productive team.
And you've got to apply that exact same systematic thinking to customer service. Look, the goal isn't to create some unbelievable wow experience every single day. That's impossible. The real goal is to be consistently good, to make sure the experience never goes off the rails. That's how you build trust. That's how you get people coming back again and again. It's all about being reliable. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We're going to wrap up by boiling this entire report down to the 3 most important findings. If you remember anything, remember these. They really get to the heart of where the value is and where this market is going. Finding number 1, and this is the big one. The Wild West is over. Period. The game has totally changed. To succeed now, you absolutely need a professional mindset and a real commitment to quality. And that goes for both the brand and the franchisee. All right, finding number 2, the power has shifted. Brands can't just sell a franchise license and then disappear. That model is dead. Now you have to think of the franchisee as your client. You have to provide this robust, ongoing support system if you want to attract these savvy investors. So for any brand out there, your value isn't just your name anymore, it's the entire support system you bring to the table. And that brings us to our third and final takeaway. The real difference between the winners and the losers, it's having a detailed, repeatable playbook. Look, standardization isn't about killing creativity. It's about building a reliable engine for profit that you can scale up. That playbook is the core asset that a brand is really selling.
So here's the final question to chew on. In a world where everybody basically has access to the same information, could it be that the ultimate competitive advantage is just discipline? The discipline to execute a standardized plan perfectly, day in and day out. In this new professional playground, maybe strategy is execution. Thanks for joining this explainer.